Good evening and welcome to the NDTV Dialogues. This week, as young children lose their lives in India's capital city, they're victims not just of a disease of dengue, but of a deadlier combination of indifference to public health, larger negligence of the core problem. The NDTV Dialogues focuses on the issues that are arising out of what some may say is a panic reaction, what others are describing as an epidemic of dengue. But it's a story repeated in cities across India. In rural India, the state of healthcare and hospitals is dismal as it is. Why do we wake up only when there's a medical emergency and expect the healthcare system to be fully functional? Why is health low priority for politicians in government after government? Joining me for more on this is Delhi's Health Minister, Satyendra Jain. I'm also joined by Dr. Srinath Reddy. He's the President of the Public Health Foundation of India. Also with me, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Naresh Trehan, Founder Chairman of Medanta. Also with me, Kiran Bedi, former Senior Police Officer, but also somebody who's been focusing on sanitation when she ran for Delhi's Chief Minister post. Thank you very much for joining me. Mr. Jain, beginning with you, why are we in this situation today? We've been reporting deaths of young children day after day in Delhi this week. But it's actually been part of a larger problem. This has started off some months ago. It's a problem which Delhi faces every year. Why was your government not prepared for this?
देखिएगा, गवर्नमेंट ने तैयारियां इसकी 3-4 महीने पहले स्टार्ट कर दी थी और हमने जो तैयारियां की थी पिछले साल के जो डाटा थे उनके हिसाब से की थी। हमें डाटा मिला था कि भाई पिछले साल जो डेंगू से पेशेंट थे, जितने पेशेंट हमारे हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हुए, तो हमने उससे लगभग 3 गुना पेशेंट्स के लिए इंतजाम किए थे कि भी 3 गुना इंतजाम कर लेते हैं, दैट इज़ सफिशिएंट। और दूसरा जो प्रिवेंशन की बात थी, प्रिवेंशन के लिए हमने मीटिंग्स 3 महीने पहले स्टार्ट कर दी थी और प्रिवेंशन का जितना काम था वो म्यूनसिपलिटीज़ को करना होता है, म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन को करना होता है। उनसे हमारे रेगुलर मीटिंग होती रही, उनको हमने बताया कि क्या क्या चीज़ें करनी है। और जो ब्रीडिंग है, जो हमारे ब्रीडिंग इंस्पेक्टर्स होते हैं, लगभग कई हज़ार ब्रीडिंग इंस्पेक्टर्स हैं, उनको घर घर जाकर लोगों को चेक करना था, क्योंकि डेंगू का जो मच्छर है वो घरों में ज़्यादा होता है, घरों के अंदर या ऑफिस में, स्कूलों में, जहाँ पर भी साफ़ पानी मिलता है। तो उनका इंस्पेक्टर्स का वो था कि भी इनको घर घर जाके चेक करना है, ब्रीडिंग किसी तरीके से ना हो। और जैसा कि मीडिया के थ्रू बहुत खबरें मिल रही थी और जगह जगह इस तरह के चलान कट रहे थे कि हमें तो ये लग रहा था कि भाई बहुत अच्छा काम चल रहा है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक के और मतलब राष्ट्रपति भवन के भी चलान कटे गए थे, काफ़ी हॉस्पिटल्स के नाम भी आए थे। तो रिपोर्टिंग में भी आता था कि भाई दे आर डूइंग वेरी सीरियस वर्क, और लाखों में क्या उन्होंने हमें आज जो डाटा दिया वो करोड़ों में बताया कि हमने इतने करोड़ विजिट किए हैं।
If you suppose today you were in opposition, and as an AAP opposition member, if the health minister of the Delhi had told you this, wouldn't you have said that this is not good enough? That saying that I saw it on media reports कि चलान हो रहे थे, राष्ट्रपति भवन में भी चलान हो रहे थे. Do you think this? But do you think this is good enough? नहीं, जैसे आप आज you met with the 3 mayors. The South Corporation mayor told us that out of 28 crores given in the budget for dengue, malaria, other waterborne diseases, not a single paisa. She says not a single paisa has been released from that budget to the corporations. This may be passing the buck, but what did you actually do on the ground?
नहीं मैडम, एक बात सुनिए, अगर पैसा किसी वजह से गवर्नमेंट इंटर गवर्नमेंट में ट्रांसफर में कम ज़्यादा या 2 दिन आगे पीछे हो जाता है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि स्टाफ ने काम करना बंद कर दिया। उनको तनख्वाह मिल रही है, स्टाफ काम कर रहा है। दैट इज़ नॉट द थिंग कि भाई अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से हमें 100 करोड़ रुपये नहीं मिलते तो हम कहेंगे दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट काम करना बंद कर देगी। काम तो चलेगा ही, अगर पैसा मिल रहा है 2 दिन आगे या पीछे मिलेगा, जो ड्यू है वो मिलना ही मिलना है, उसमें कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं। अगर ये कहना कि भाई पैसे नहीं मिले इसलिए काम नहीं किया, अगर पैसे मिल जाते तो काम हो जाता, इसका मतलब ये क्या हुआ कि पैसे नहीं मिले इसलिए उन्होंने काम नहीं किया। ये क्या मतलब हुआ कि अगर दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने एडवांस में पैसे दिए होते तब वो डेंगू को कंटेन कर लेते। अगर पैसा नहीं दिया इसलिए नहीं किया, इसका मतलब ये क्या ब्लैकमेलिंग है?
Dr. Srinath Reddy, when we get into this fight, and there is a bit of a political fight now that they didn't give us funds, this AAP will say the centre has cut funds, etc., etc. Is funding an issue at all? Where does the problem really lie here? I mean, is it about? So, Dr. Reddy, why have we reached this situation? Why have we reached a situation when there is panic over a disease where, as everyone has said, including the minister, over 99% are cured?
I think firstly, there is a failure of risk communication and public education, which is also an important public health function. Secondly, there is a failure of planning, because we must recognize that with increasing numbers in urban crowding, a fair amount of in-migration, a number of people who have previously not been exposed and poor immunity also come in. And at the same time, we are creating construction sites which lead to waterlogging. They are not cleared. And with lax wastewater management, overcrowding, urbanization, you are setting up a fairly ripe recipe for vector growth as well as evolution of the very virus itself. So, you are going to have this problem for quite some time, and now climate change is going to aggravate it with increasing warming.
Mr. Jain, an interesting point that he said we based it on figures of last year's. We looked at it, we had planned, that's what we were expecting. So, we were taken completely in that sense off guard.
We will have to anticipate an increase.
No.
For a variety of these reasons.
What we thought was कि जितना पिछले साल था उससे 2 गुना होगा और 3 गुने तक हमने इंतजाम किया था.
Yes.
बट अगर देखिए पैनिक की वजह से देखो डॉक्टर श्रीनाथ रेड्डी जो कह रहे हैं बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, बट जो इनकी बात बताई गई है सारी चीज़ ना लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग के हिसाब से. वी आर डूइंग लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग ऑल्सो. परंतु क्या हुआ है कि लास्ट ईयर के डेटा से हमें लगा अगर डबल भी होता है तो ट्रिपल का इंतजाम कर लीजिए. ट्रिपल का इंतजाम हो जाएगा तो हम वी विल बी सेफ. परंतु हुआ क्या है कि पिछले 7 डेज के अंदर अब जब पब्लिक एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं कि ये बिल्कुल हमारा काम है कि पब्लिक को एजुकेट किया जाए, पर एजुकेशन करने के अंदर हमने मेडिसिन ब्रूफेन डिस्प्रिन को ओवर द काउंटर बैन किया. अब उसके ऊपर आप देखेंगे काफ़ी लोग हमारी कह रहे हैं कि आप कौन होते बैन करने वाले, मेरे को सर दर्द है तो क्या दवाई नहीं लूँगा. भाई ऐसा नहीं होता है. अगर आपको मैंने कहा कि डॉक्टर की सलाह से लीजिएगा, मना कब करें. आप 2 महीने के लिए बैन किए, 2 महीने में क्या फर्क पड़ता है. लोग उसके लिए भी बड़ा क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं.
I take that point, but let Dr. Reddy just finish what he's saying, that you're talking about long-term planning. That's fine, but we were prepared for this.
Even in the immediate response, yes, which is absolutely required. Firstly, you require public education so that the panic situation doesn't arise. That many of the people recognize that majority of the cases are going to be fairly mild, can be treated with adequate hydration, drinking plenty of water, taking rest, and then going to the hospital only if there is a particular problem which appears to be symptomatic of a complication developing, and that can be explained very clearly. But also proper treatment. I mean, many of these cases are over investigated and over treated, and that can also lead to complications unnecessarily. But at the same time, we also need immediately both vector control measures for adult mosquitoes, which is fogging, and for larval control, which is actually using other kinds of medicines like Telefos, which actually control the larvae. So, you require vector control, public education, provider education as the immediate combined response. Otherwise, you are not going to have control over the situation where many people will rush to the hospitals, will get unnecessarily treated, but the real serious cases will not get treated.
And I think that's the point, Dr. Reddy, because how did the narrative actually change, Dr. Thiran? It changed really with the death of 1 child, then 2 children, then 3 children, and for what seemed to be the most negligent of reasons, that they went, the horrific story of a person going on a motorbike to 5 different hospitals, not being able to treat a critically ill child. And private hospitals seem to emerge in many ways the villain of the piece, and also it points out that how much the dependence is on private hospitals for the first diagnosis.
Now, basically, we can theorize all we want. This post-mortem should take place once we have controlled this epidemic that's in front of us. We can talk all we want. Anybody's child who is sick is not going to sit at home thinking this is mild or not, because the 4th death has taken place today. So, every day there's another death. So, what we need to do is to make a segmented plan. One is to go and mobilize on the ground every resource you can find, whether it is RWAs, whether it is social organizations, whether it is elderly organizations, whatever you can find in different areas, to say these are the things that you need to check. You don't depend on the inspectors because there are few, and I don't know how much they want to work or what they do, but you can take them along, and we have done that. In the past, we were doing it for 7 years. Now that I travel to Gurgaon, I don't have the time, but you can do it. You can check everybody's home, tell them, because everybody is in a panic, they'll do it themselves. But somebody needs to organize that whole thing on the ground. Like Dr. Srinath said, we must kill the larva and we must kill the flying mosquito. That is to decrease the burden today. Then you have people who have fever or have dengue, right, or suspected dengue. Make a diktat today to all hospitals. I suggest we make, and it can be done very easily in today's IT enabled environment, make a command center. Every hospital has to report how many beds that they have. Let people have one telephone line to call, one number, and this back office or control center will guide them. You are in Janakpuri, this hospital near you will do your tests. They have already committed to it. You get it done, and then you also advise them there that if it is not dengue, you don't get admitted. If it is such and such, you don't have to get admitted. So you have to systematically prepare a war plan, because it's not going away tomorrow. Last week is a lesson to learn for the next 4 to 6 weeks when this may continue. So unless one authority takes charge of all the aspects and then plan for next year, and it is also known that dengue comes in cycles. There will be a milder cycle and there will be a very severe cycle. Then there will be a milder cycle which will be more than the first milder cycle, and the next wave will be even worse. So we know what the behavior pattern of dengue is. So I think that unless we map it all out, you can make an NCR dengue authority overnight.
No, I agree with you completely on that when it comes to an emergency measure. But my point, which I asked you also, is why is it that private hospitals, and that really came out, I think, in some of the stories of these deaths, why did private hospitals seem to be operating more on a profit basis? Why is the feeling that you will get a bed in a hospital if you know who to call, if you know the owner of the hospital, but if you're a normal poor person who wants treatment, a private hospital is the last place to go, it functions for profit?
I'm sorry, you cannot paint everybody with the same brush. I have 56 patients in the hospital today who have never a question has been asked. If they think that they have dengue, first they are tested, and if they test positive, they are admitted. You ask for the money bill later, because that's a mandated law that for anybody who comes in the emergency, you first must give them first aid. If you want to ship them out to another facility, you must contact that facility and provide transport to get them safely to that facility. This is all written in law, and people have actually gone to jail who did not respect this law. So I'm not sure what happened, and I'm not the person to be standing in judgment, but there are hundreds of hospitals who have done their job well. So the 4, 5, 6 that you have in the news may or may not have, I have no idea. But I think no government in the world can provide treatment to all their citizens alone. It has never happened. So you need to actually create that environment where all the NGOs, the government and the private sector works together, especially in current crisis.
No, I agree with you.
And there is no excuses. I'm saying make that command center, let them call a private hospital and say, if they refuse, you know who to monitor and how to punish them.
But Dr. Thrien, again I said it's not about you individually or your hospital, but in a larger aspect, I don't know if it's that easy, but go ahead. Mr. Jain, do you find that sense of cooperation? And again I say it's not about one hospital or X hospital, but do you find that larger sense of cooperation? We find in one case, they don't, one father said, I didn't trust the government hospital diagnosis, I went to a private hospital, this is how they treated me. What have you found in the current situation? Is everyone actually coming together and working together? Why isn't the government taking charge? You all have ordered, you've said hospitals can lose their licenses if they don't treat patients.
देखिएगा, डॉक्टर त्रहन ने जो कहा है, I 100% एग्री विद हिम, और हमने ऑलरेडी ये काम स्टार्ट कर दिया है. सभी प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल से भी हम कांटेक्ट कर रहे हैं और कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि किसी तरह सबका डाटा हमारे पास हो सके. गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल के अंदर आपस में हमारा कोऑर्डिनेशन काफ़ी ठीक हो गया है. आज मैंने तीनों मेयर्स को भी बुलाया था, तीनों मेयर से भी हमारी बात हुई है, कमिश्नर्स को रेगुलरली बुला रहे हैं तीनों MCD के, और यूनियन हेल्थ मिनिस्टर से मेरी रेगुलरली बात चल रही है. तो कमांड सेंटर वाली जो आइडिया इन्होंने दिया है, इसको बिल्कुल 100% हम जैसे भी होगा किसी भी तरीके से इसको जल्द से जल्द इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे. और डॉक्टर साहब ने एक बात बहुत ही अच्छी बताई है, जो कि देखो सभी को माननी चाहिए. जब हम कहते हैं कि जी आप किसी को रिफ्यूज़ नहीं कर सकते, कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि क्यों नहीं कर सकते, वही चीज़ डॉक्टर साहब ने कही है कि गवर्नमेंट ने ये कहा है कि कोई पेशेंट अगर इमरजेंसी में जाता है तो उस पेशेंट को हॉस्पिटल की जिम्मेदारी है उसको स्टेबलाइज करे और ट्रीटमेंट वहाँ पर हो सकता है ट्रीटमेंट दे. अगर ट्रीटमेंट नहीं हो सकता है तो दूसरे सेंटर में विद एम्बुलेंस भेजे, उससे बात करके भेजे. तो ये उनकी जिम्मेदारी है और इस बात को गवर्नमेंट पूरी सख्ती से लागू करने की कोशिश कर रही है और कर रही है. जो हॉस्पिटल्स को लागू नहीं करेंगे उसको हम सख्ती से निपटेंगे. जहाँ तक रही बात के हॉस्पिटल्स में एकदम से बेड कैसे बढ़ाए जाएँ, हमने कल हम 2 दिन पहले ऑर्डर दिया है कि जितने भी प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वो अपनी कैपेसिटी को 10% से 20% तक बढ़ा सकते हैं.
No, and maybe that is the problem really in our public healthcare. I know you said they had to function together, but 80% of healthcare in India is in private hands, and that is actually a scary ratio. And Kiran Bedi, I want to bring you in not on the medical aspect because you're not a doctor at all, but really on something. Interestingly, I know you're not here as a politician, but when you campaigned in the elections for Delhi, Many said you put your foot in your mouth because you went to a prominent, you went to Harshvardhan constituency and you said it's filthy, I'm going to focus on sanitation, and people laughed and said, oh, nobody's going to vote on this, it doesn't matter, and then of course we know the result of the election. Do you, when you look around, say we're talking about beds, we're talking about hospitals, we're talking about emergency measures, but unless you clean up the city, how are you going to fix any of this?
Thank you, Sonia, for pointing this out. When I was campaigning, I was shocked to see, because I was on a truck and I could see it from a long distance, Delhi is very dirty. And I told people Delhi is not Lutyens' Delhi. Delhi is not part of South Delhi. Delhi is all outer Delhi, West Delhi, East Delhi. Go visit it. That is Delhi, and it is as dirty as anywhere else. And I was shocked that if this happens and I get elected, how am I going to clean these mounds of garbage? There were mounds of garbage. Juggies are on the mounds of garbage. Mounds of garbage. People are living on mounds of garbage. That's like a place. And there are hundreds and thousands of them. Some of the garbage has not been removed for years and months. We've had a Swachh. And then what happened was, when I saw this, I started to say, who's going to clean this up? And I found that the MCD and the government were at loggerheads. And I can tell you, I live in South Delhi.
They're still at loggerheads.
Sonia, I live in South Delhi. I must give credit to the past government. It was never as dirty as it is today. It was cleaner. And I started 6 months, 4 months, 5 months ago, I tweeted, I'm on record to say, I never saw my South Delhi as dirty. So South Delhi, those lanes were choked, those sides garbage was left, there was nobody attending. And remember, they had a garbage strike. The MCD people had dumped all the garbage on the roads. What was it doing? It was breeding mosquitoes. It was breeding larvae. You swine flu or mosquitoes or dengue flu, the point is you are breeding. There has been actually a lapse in sanitation over the months.
Why are voters not interested? Why do voters also not wake up to issues like health? Why is health not considered a political priority?
Voters have given up. Why? Who do they go to? These 5 years, they say, we've elected. Now, who do they go to? The point is, now give me a moment to explain. Yes. They ordered an SDM's inquiry into this, right? Into what happened. I want to know who will inquire into your coordination lapses? Who will look into administrative lapses? You yourself, the cabinet, the session, but the session is in majority. So who is accountable to whom? Only the High Court, as it is, the High Court has asked. So they'll give this big list that we did this. You mean to say High Court has the time to look into all these? They have lacked coordination. They've lacked anticipation. They've lacked planning. They've lacked
when
mobilization.
You say you mean the central government as well? Because,
no.
Why?
The Delhi government.
But look at Safdarjung Hospital, parts of Delhi are under the centre.
Even the All India Institute had a dump the other day.
So that's the central government.
Of course. But who is coordinating the city of Delhi? Who is coordinating?
That's a good question. Seems to be nobody.
But the city of Delhi it's the chief minister. Bureaucratically, it's the chief secretary. And on health-wise, it's a health secretary. Accountability stops at these 3 places. Chief secretary, health secretary, the chief minister and the health minister. I'm not making it political. I'm saying as a citizen of Delhi, I've seen the manner. I worked as special secretary to LG. The LG and we all used to walk. Mr. Train used to be part of that citizen warden team. We used to walk and we were almost bringing sanitation cleaning at night. Night cleaning, so that in the morning streets are clean.
Interestingly, very proactive LG has been silent, and very proactive LG usually has been silent in this. Mr. Jain, do you want to respond quickly? Because again, as I said, it's not just about the AAP government, it's about any governments or at the centre, whether it's the BJP this time. And ironically, of course, Mr. Modi and Swachh Bharat, and we've seen that Delhi has actually performed worse in the parameters in a recent survey of Swachh Bharat. Delhi has been amongst the worst. Given the funds that come into the city, given the fact that it's relatively educated, urbanized and small, how is it that we have failed so badly in this? Not just you, Mr. Jain, or the AAP government, but why have all politicians failed in this? Why will some lowly junior officer somewhere be held accountable, which actually means no politician will be held accountable? And again, as I said, if you were in opposition today, you wouldn't have accepted this situation. You would have been out on the streets demanding answers.
देखिएगा सोनिया जी, किरण बेदी जी ने जितनी सफाई से जो बात कही है ना, उसका मैं बिल्कुल समर्थन करता हूं। और उन्होंने साफ साफ कहा है कि पिछले 4 महीने में जानबूझ के लगता है कुछ लोगों ने दिल्ली को गंदा किया है, और गंदा करने का काम उन्हीं लोगों ने किया जिनका काम सफाई करने का है। कल को आप कहने लगे मेट्रो चलाने में, अगर मेट्रो टाइम से नहीं चल रही, सत्येंद्र जैन जी जिम्मेदार हैं या अरविंद केजरीवाल जिम्मेदार हैं। अगर हमने जिम्मेदारी दी है, दिल्ली की कॉरपोरेशन को जिम्मेदारी है सफाई करने की, उनके पास हजारों लोग हैं, उनके जिस भी काम के अंदर पूछताछ की जाती है वो कहते हैं यू कैन नॉट इंटरवीन इन आवर वर्क, दिस इज आवर सोवरेन अथॉरिटी, वी विल डू आवर वर्क आवर सेल्फ। तो उसके अंदर जानबूझ के ऐसा मतलब किया जा रहा है। आपने कहा स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चल रहा है, दिल्ली के अंदर चल रहा है, और हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी दिल्ली में रहते हैं, तब उनकी भी नहीं मानते क्या वो? हम तो कह रहे हैं कि एमसीडी वाले हमारी नहीं मानते, परंतु केंद्र सरकार भी दिल्ली के अंदर है, प्रधानमंत्री जी भी यहाँ पर है, और उन्हीं की पार्टी के बीजेपी वाले हैं, उन्हीं के लोग हैं कॉरपोरेशन के अंदर। और 4-5 महीने, क्योंकि स्पेशली किरण बेदी जी ने कहा कि 4-5 महीने के अंदर गंदगी दिल्ली के अंदर फैल गई है, उनकी गलियों में गंदगी सफाई नहीं हो रही है, तो कौन सफाई नहीं कर रहा है? और मैं तो रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा मैडम से, मैडम चुनने नहीं गए कोई बात नहीं है, आपको सड़क पे अभी भी आना चाहिए, आपकी बहुत वैल्यू है, जनता की मदद करने के लिए अगर गंदगी सड़कों पे है तो आपको भी साथ में आना चाहिए हमारे। मैं तो रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, आपकी जो स्टार वैल्यू है उसकी वजह से एमसीडी वाले डरेंगे आपसे, आपके लिए काम करेंगे, आपकी पार्टी के लोग हैं वो आपसे डरते हैं, आपको भी सड़क पे आना चाहिए सफाई के लिए।
No, I think some of the issues are core. You made the point about salaries, but let me just take it to a slightly different aspect, and let me bring in Dr. Swaminathan on this. When we look, and I don't want to look just at dengue in Delhi, but really look at it across the country, the reaction to public health crises like this or to a public health emergency is always knee-jerk. There'll be some sudden increase of beds, leaves will be cancelled for doctors and nurses, etc. But we're not looking at the causes, the new strains. In fact, doctors have talked also the fact that they didn't expect this new strain, which dengue 4, which they're talking about now, or a different strain. Why do you think there's this lack of coordination between the different arms, which Dr. Reddy pointed out, also Dr. Trehan, that where does the ICMR come into it? What the information you give, is it actually disseminated to doctors who are treating dengue patients? How does it actually work?
No, I certainly think we need to improve on this aspect, and as everybody has mentioned here, we react after the problem appears, because doing preventive health care is not a very sexy thing. It needs, you know, a continuous effort. It's behind the scenes work. It's very basic kind of work, but ultimately in the long run,
it doesn't win elections.
Exactly, it's not high profile. You can't, you know, have short term gains. It's gains over the long term, and that is why I think there's no commitment to doing this. But unless we really start investing in our preventive health services, which is everything from, you know, sanitation and hygiene, but also training of our primary healthcare people, these kind of fever cases should be managed at primary healthcare level. You know, they should not all be rushing into the big hospitals, which should be taking care of really sick patients. Now they're looking at everything from somebody with a common cold. If you look outside All India Institute, you know, there are always 10,000 people there. Probably 99% of them need to be managed in primary care.
No, of course, one aspect is that also other patients are being turned away because the focus is on dengue, so the other patients are being turned away.
So that's one aspect. The other thing is, I think, investing in surveillance systems, which ICMR has now started doing. We've built a network of viral diagnostic labs across the country. Now we have about 40 of them. We've set them up in medical colleges, and they're able to test about 22 different viruses. So in this fever, for example, we are able to detect whether it's dengue or chikungunya or one of the other viruses that may be circulating, including H1N1 and so on, which is likely to come up later in the year. So that data needs to be.
What struck you with this year? What has struck you this year? Again, when we've seen the sudden, I mean, there's of course a verdict still out whether it's been a misdiagnosis. The child who's died this week apparently was treated for a stomach pain by 2 hospitals and sent home. So what has struck you this year? And do you feel that perhaps if it was pointed out, or it was at least known commonly, that even without fever, a stomach ache or a stomach severe abdominal pain could be because of dengue? Do you think this is something which needs to be conveyed publicly, much more awareness? And what has struck you in this year? What's been unusual?
I think we've seen this year after year, so I don't think it's that unusual. And the number of deaths, of course, the media has been focusing on it, but if you look at it percentage wise, it's a very small percentage of the total number of people who've been affected with dengue. So I think overall the management has been okay of the patients who finally land up, you know, in the hospitals. But I think again it's preparation before the peak comes. So it's a month or 2 before that you need to start informing people, informing the public, you know, asking hospitals to be prepared, putting out the training, putting out algorithms for diagnosis and management. So now all the papers are carrying. So if this had been done a month before, then people would have known what the warning signs are, you know, when do you take care. For example, people may not know that it's 1 or 2 days after the fever subsides, which are actually the most risky days when you might go into complications. And what are the warning signs when you definitely need to get to a hospital quickly? For every fever and sore throat, you know, you don't need to go to a big hospital.